Wonderful. Right. So let us get started with our journey into cloud with respect to the networking. What are the different things that impact networking and what is that we need to know with respect to networking and all of that stuff. So let me create a new folder. Okay, so basically whenever we work with cloud, networking is very essential activities because the way cloud works is, right, the servers are no longer available in your campus. Okay, so let us basically try to understand what are the different things which we need to basically look into whenever I want to be good with cloud. All right, so the whole idea of cloud is we want to run our applications on infrastructure which we don't own, which is owned by organizations like Microsoft or Amazon or Google, where they own the infrastructure, right? So, and we have our organization building applications. So, how do I basically understand this whole networking with respect to cloud, right? So, let us basically try to understand some of the basic terms with respect to network, right? So, for that, what we would try to understand is, okay, the first thing which I would try to speak about is a virtual network. Okay, so generally what happens in your organizations you would have servers, right? So let me use some images, right? You would have servers, multiple servers, right? And these servers are connected, okay, physically to some networks, right? Consider this to be your organization enterprise network, right? Okay, so we have this kind of a network connectivity, right? And each server will get some IP address. Okay, so and now basically every server, since it gets an IP address and since it gets a no name, we would try to access that straight away, because what would happen is, okay, so if you want to access that applications which are present in your organization, okay, you would have, okay, so this is consider this to be your network at your workstations, right? So and this is I'll call it as a workstation network. Okay, right? And now connecting this workstation to network to your I'll call it as network, and let me call this network as, okay, data center network. Okay, and all of this is happening within the boundary of your organization. So this is something which happens in your office. So this is your organization. Okay, so this is your organization. And how do you connect from workstation network to the data center network? In your organizations you would have right, some network engineers, right? Okay, right. So we would have network engineering team. So these are your network engineers. Okay, you can call them as IT engineers also if you want. Okay, so what these network engineers will do is they will configure the networks for you. They will configure the networks for you. Okay, so now from this server accessing to this server at a max, right? If your organization is very much strategic, you might raise a issue or you might raise a concern with the network team saying that I want to access to this network. Can you please enable that? Right? In majority of the cases, you would just go and walk the talk with your network engineers, and they provide some sort of connectivity from your workstation to the data center network. Yes or no? Is this what is not happening in physical networks in your organizations? Right? So this is a basic, simple format of right organization network. Right? So this is going to be our first stuff. Okay. Let me try to preserve this image for you. Okay. Now let me save this. Uh, Let me go ahead and create a folder over here, which I would be calling as images. Okay, and copy the path of it. Right. So, right. So, single location organization network. Okay. So, let me try to see if this whole stuff is working or not. Images slash vnet1.png. Right. Now, then comes the second level of difficulty. Right. So, your organization is not present at one location. Okay. So, you have multiple sites. You have multi-site setup, right? So your organization is present in various different locations as such. Okay, right. So this is site one. Okay, there might be in different cities in the same country or different countries altogether. Okay, site three and site four. Here the situation becomes slightly difficult. We'll have network engineers at each of our stuff, and now let us assume a person from site one wants to access a server in site four. Okay, so your organization will have some kind of a right setup. Okay, I would call it as WAN setup, wide area network setups, by different mechanisms, whatever those mechanisms would be. But still, you have a pleasure of network engineers connecting your servers for you. This is basically for an organization with multiple sites. Okay, and each site will be connected to this WAN network somehow. Do you agree with me on this? This is the second case. Okay, so in this case, you have an organization which is present at multiple different sites. The sites can be more than one. Let it be 10, 20, 100, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I might not get the full image, but I'll try to put as much as possible. Right. Okay, this is basically the second scenario. Okay, multi-location organizational network. Yes, do you agree with this now? So these are the two common use cases which we have whenever we are working within the enterprise network. Now the whole challenge which we have is here complete ownership, right? In the above two cases, in the or basic networks. Okay. So in the above two cases, okay, your organization is owning the whole network, owning the network configuration. Okay, because you own the network of all of these areas. Okay, but when we go to cloud, will we have the same advantage? We don't own the complete network over here. The ownership is completely with you. Okay, so once we move to the cloud, the scenario looks different. Okay, so how the scenario looks different, let me try to basically look into that. So let me go ahead. Okay, these servers, okay, which you have, okay, consider this is physical infrastructure. Okay, now once you go to the cloud, once you go to the cloud, what you would have is, let me write it as Azure. In Azure, you will have not physical servers. You would not have a physical server, right? So you would have virtual machine. Okay, so let me copy this. You would have virtual machines because in cloud you will never get a physical server. Okay, so your servers wherever you are trying to run, basically they will be virtual machines. Okay, or databases, whatever it is, everything is virtual. Okay, when it comes to this network, okay, this network is also not physical. This is also a virtual network because we can use physical network to connect physical servers, but here what we have is we have virtual network. Okay, so generally in the cloud we would have virtual networks. Why? What is the use case over here? So if you look into any of the data centers, okay, data center racks, if you get into these racks, Azure will be having lot of servers lined up like this, right? So these are your physical servers which are owned by Microsoft. Whenever you create anything in Azure, on these physical servers, virtual machines, virtual networks, virtual disks come into play. Am I clear on this? So we will not be having direct access to this physical infrastructure. On top of this physical infrastructure, virtual infrastructure gets created. So basically what we deal over here is virtual machines, virtual networks. Now there are challenges now. Okay, so here your machines which are working on your desktops, right? You should be able to connect some kind of connectivity, some kind of connectivity with cloud. Okay, some kind of network connectivity, right? So the most common one which all of us will start using is internet. Okay, but internet is not the only option because there are some problems around it. Okay, so if I make my servers available on the internet, it is not only you, anyone on the world can access your servers. Okay, so but it's okay, you can have internet based connectivity. Okay, but sometimes we don't want internet based connectivity between them, right? So we don't want whoever wants to access my virtual machine, he's using internet and directly accessing it, okay, by using an IP address. We might not want that, okay? So we get into these kind of challenges. So am I clear on this? And now your network engineers cannot help you completely, you need to understand how the networking side of the things work in Azure. Am I clear on this? Am I clear on so far? Right? Yeah. So now this is, let it be a single site or a multi-site, here it doesn't matter, because okay, you are dealing with a network or servers which is outside the premise or outside the boundary of your organization. Okay, so now if we add the Azure, okay, virtual infrastructure, if we use, let me not add, if we use the Azure virtual infrastructure to run our applications, then new challenges are added or to be resolved. Okay, so what are those new challenges? How do the things work out? We will be getting into all of that. But do you understand these pictures now? Right, sir? Yeah, good. Now let me try to speak about, okay, one interesting term which is called as public connectivity, right? So any application, okay, or server that can be directly connected, okay, using an public IP address or using an IP address, okay, falls under this category. For example, here, okay, so you might want to access something like, okay, Swiggy, you might want to, okay, basically look into something like um, Book My Show or any apps for that matter, Book My Show, Facebook, okay, etc. Right? Using a public IP address or host name or, okay, directly domain. But internally many things happen. We'll basically try to connect to that. Okay. So, and then we have something called as private connectivity. Okay. Any application server, any application or server that cannot be connected directly. Okay. From internet, but expects you to be in particular network. Okay. Right. So for example, these are your office servers, okay, internal applications, okay, etc. For example, in many organizations, if you want to basically try to connect to some of the applications, they might not work from internet, but you need to establish some kind of VPN connectivity to your organization, and then those applications will start working. Yes or no? So for example, your office payroll app, in some organizations, office emails, right? So basically the whole idea is Okay, there are two kinds of things which we need to worry about. We would have applications which basically are exposed to the whole world. Okay, the second thing is there are applications which should not be exposed to the whole world. They should be exposed only to few set of networks. Okay, so when we go to cloud, will this equation change? Just because we have moved to the cloud, we will not tell that okay, everything access over internet. That could not be the case. So we might want some kind of private connectivity, right? So when I say private connectivity, VPN is one of them. Okay, not the only one. VPN is one of them. Virtual private network is one of them. Okay, there are many other kinds of connectivities which you can establish. Okay, so am I clear on this public connectivity and private connectivity now? Generally, whenever you create any application, the first thing which you would understand is this application for public usage? That means anyone on the internet can he use this application, or is this application which I am trying to create is for specific users? If it is for specific users, I need to deal the things differently. Yes or no? Yeah. And the next thing that comes into play is, okay, whenever I am in my organization, okay, so I might need to basically I will be having a convenience of monitoring whole of my network. So for example, in this area, I can networking is completely under my control. So every network packet that is traveling within my organization, I can monitor it. But once I go to the cloud, will I get the same convenience? So we need network monitoring. So how to monitor, okay, your network resources, okay, on the cloud. So yesterday I've defined what a resource is. Resource is anything which you create, anything which you create. Okay, so apart from that, we also have, okay, protection services. So whenever we are exposing our applications, we would have different kinds of attacks, right? So something like DDoS, we might need to worry about firewalls, okay, so etc. When I'm working with networks, I need to worry about this stuff also. And there are other terms also that come into play, right? So other networking, okay, or I'll call it as, yeah, other networking components into consideration. Okay, we need to worry about something called as load balancers. We need to worry about, okay, something called as or let me put it in this way, we need to worry about, okay, don't worry about what these things are, we'll speak about it. Layer 4 load balancers and layer 7 load balancers. Okay, and generally whenever you access your applications, we would want to access our applications mostly not by IP addresses but by names. So we might need to worry about DNS servers, right? So how am I going to do all of this? Okay, so for this, what is required, and what is going to be our different options which we would try to adapt, right? So for this, let us try to come across a scenario, and we will basically try to understand, okay, so how to build this Azure networking or complex networking scenarios brick by brick. We will start from a very basic option. We will try to basically understand one hypothetical organization scenario, and then based on that, we will try to learn our networking components. But I can add many other things to this networking at this moment, but I don't want to speak about all the possible options right now by naming what are the Azure services which are available for doing all of this, and then make it complicated. Let us go step by step. Let us build this whole networking stuff brick by brick, because whenever we are working on cloud, we want to access applications, and when we want to access applications, networking comes into play all the times, right? So that is where we have to be very good with respect to Azure. Okay, so there is one question which I would like to answer: is public or private network same as intranet and extranet? Not really, sir. It might not be an extranet, right? So intra-networking is something which you connect within your organizational boundary. Okay, but generally, if you are trying to consider, we are trying to speak about two networks. One is in your organization, the other one is in basically some other world altogether. Okay, so I will not call it as intranet, but we can make it behave like an intranet. All of these things will come step by step. So am I clear on this? Right? So are there complications now? So we need to manage many of the areas of networking step by step, right? So basic network, okay, in your enterprise and cloud. Okay, fine. Now to understand this, let us try to come up with a situation. Okay, so what is going to be our scenario? Okay, our scenario is, let us try to take an example of an organization, right? So we will take an organization, okay, and let me take the organization as Learning Thought. This is my organization. Okay, Learning Thoughts, hypothetically, this is not a actual reality. I'm just trying to come up with the scenario. Okay, so this is a fictitious organization which has, okay, three major applications, okay, which are used by customers from internet. Am I clear on this? So Learning Thought organization has three major applications which are used by customers from internet. Okay, so now the other thing is, Learning Thought also has lot of internal applications, which are meant for usage only in office. So only in your office, I'm trying to replace that with a term called as on-premise. So right, only when you are in your organizational network, then you are supposed to access these applications. Okay, so now this Learning Thoughts organization, okay, right, this Learning Thoughts organization has two data centers. Okay, one in Hyderabad, other in Bangalore. Okay, so this is about their physical infrastructure. Right? So as of now, right, Learning Thoughts is running all of its infrastructure on data centers, and now they want to leverage the Azure cloud. So this is basically the scenario. Okay, so let us try to basically help this Learning Thoughts organization so that they can run all of their major applications from Azure cloud. Okay, so for this organization, these are organizational needs. Okay, right, so let us look at team. Okay, So we have, okay, one data center networking team, right? We have architecture team, and then we have administrators. We have administrators, right? So this data center networking team, okay, let us try to, okay, so this team is managing the data center networks, data center networks, okay, for learning thoughts, okay. So this team is responsible for, okay, for design of the applications, for design of the applications, let them be internal or let them be external, these are the teams which are responsible, right? And then administrators, this team is responsible for deploying the applications in the data centers, right? So we have developer team and admin team, so we have project teams, right? So these project teams are responsible for delivering, okay, the assigned projects. So here you have developers, you have testers, etc. You can go on and on, whoever you want to add, manager, lead, whatever it is, okay. So is this clear now? Yeah, simple. I'm not asking, there is nothing technical about it, okay. We have mentioned multiple teams over here, right? Now what we would try to do is, let us try to understand what this organization is trying to do, okay. So now what is the activity, okay? Learning thoughts wants to, or learning thoughts decided to go with Azure cloud. Azure cloud, initially they want to run, okay, the project, okay, LT commerce, some e-commerce product on the Azure cloud, LT commerce on the Azure cloud, okay. So the current, okay, infrastructure of LT commerce is as shown below, okay, right? So I'm just drawing some image, okay. So remember, this LT commerce is completely on premise in learning thoughts data center. So let me use the server icon. So they have, okay, a web server, right? They have a web server, okay. And on this web server, basically what they do is, okay, so this is a web server which is running a Linux machine, okay. So this is Ubuntu, Linux is Ubuntu operating system. And on top of this operating system, what they are trying to run is, they are trying to run a software which is basically called as Nginx, okay. So on top of this Nginx, okay, they have their okay, let me write it down. So Qt commerce web. Okay, so this is basically what they have. And now what this web server basically does is, okay, this web server will interact with, okay, three different servers. This web server will interact with three different servers. Okay, so this in this three different servers, okay, I'm just not writing the technology over here. I'll directly write it what the components are. So this is Qt commerce inventory. Okay, and this is Qt commerce, okay, shopping cart. Okay, I'm just writing few stuff. Qt commerce identity. Okay, so we have three different servers over here. Okay, right. And now we have a database. We have a database, right? So which is Qt commerce db, right? And then we have a cache server, right? This is for responding quickly. So we have, right, Qt commerce cache. Okay, so now if you look into the networking, okay, so here we have a network. Okay, so this is connected to here, this is connected to here, and this is connected to here. Okay, and this network goes and connects to this database, and this network goes and connects to this database, right? So this network, I'll be calling it as, this is your organization's private network. Am I clear on this? Okay, right. Now, okay, so whenever your customers speak, right, your customers speak with this network, okay, this network is basically your public network, which means it is connected to internet, public network. Okay, and from that public network the traffic comes to your web server. Okay, right now I'm not adding any load balancer at this moment. Okay, so whenever a traffic comes into the web server, okay, so we have this what color should I use, this special network, this special network, okay, over here. Okay, and then there is some sort of connectivity, there is some sort of connectivity established between these two networks. Okay, am I clear on this? Okay, so this is a private network, this is a public network, and then this is, I will call it as routing. Okay, there is some sort of routing that is established. Okay, and all of these things are basically running in your organizational boundary. Okay, so this is your data center. Okay, right. So this is your organization's data center, right? Now, whenever users access the application, okay, they access the application directly over internet. Okay, so let me use that. Okay, so there is internet connectivity, and then let me put one user. Yeah, so this guy is looking like a developer. Yeah, let me put this, or this is better. So you would have users. Okay, so these guys are your users or customers, and these customers use internet, okay, to connect to your application. Am I clear on this? Okay, so this is basically what your first application is. Now what Qt Commerce or Learning Thoughts basically wants is they want to I have written it as LT Commerce, right? Let me change it. I'll change it to Qt Commerce. Fine. So your organization wants you to run this application on Azure initially. On Azure initially. Okay. So this is the activity. Okay. Now, okay. Right. Okay. So your organization wants you to run this network. Now, run this application. Okay. So what is way forward? So how am I going to do this? Okay. So this is basically what your scenario is. Does this sound like a decent need? Yeah. So we need to understand what a public network is, what a private network is, how does the communications that happen between them, right? So let me look into way forward. To do this job, okay, we need to understand networking. Okay, we need to understand public and private networking. Okay, so we need to understand IP addressing, and we need to understand a concept of subnets. We need to understand, okay, way forward. Okay, okay, and let me write it as concepts required. Okay, so IP addressing, we need to understand regions. Okay, and along with all of that, we need to understand what are software defined networks. Okay, then we will speak about virtual networks. Okay, then we need to understand about DNS, right? We need to understand about all of these aspects. There are many things to be considered. Okay, but you were given a job. Okay, the first step is, okay, as a first step for doing this activity, right, which I will be calling it as proof of concept. Proof of concept, you are asked to design the network infrastructure. So this is your need now. You are asked to design the network infrastructure. Now that is what we would try to start understanding from our next class, because we have this goal. This application which is running in my campus, I want to run it on Azure. I want to run it on Azure, and I want to. Is my audio lost? No, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So if I basically want to run this application, right, what are the different networking stuff which I need to basically understand? Okay, so we will start from a very basic concepts, and then we would try to learn that in a way saying that I am able to resolve this. Then we will get into a little bit more complicated networks. We will try to understand what Azure has to offer. Sounds interesting, right? Yes, so this is what we would try to do. All right, so when we try to understand in AWS, we would also do the similar thing in AWS, but the only challenge is in AWS we will try to realize this by using what Amazon has to offer. In here we will be trying to learn what Azure has to offer, but once you learn one cloud, tomorrow if you have to even understand or try to do this on a Google cloud, if you understand basic networking terms, they are same across all the clouds. They are same across all the clouds, but they might have different names. They might have different names around it. Okay, right? Good. So today by 11 o'clock, if you go to directdevops.blog and if you click on this menu and Azure Classroom Notes, Azure Classroom Notes, today you should see a new section added over here which is called as networking, and you will have today's date. Am I clear on this? So go into direct, please bookmark this site. The other better idea is you can go and follow, give your email address and click on follow, so that whenever anything is updated on this site, you will automatically receive an email. Okay, so go to directdevops.blog, select Azure Classroom Notes, and then you should be seeing this classroom notes which I have written. Okay, by 10:30, in between 10:30 to 11. Okay, because I have to finish all the classes and then I'd be able to do that. Right? Clear, sir? Okay, so we would try to basically continue our discussion, and we will start with networking basics. We'll start with networking basics, right? Right. So do you have any questions for me? Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Good, sir. So we will continue this journey in our next class, and then let us become literate with networking terms, DMZs, and all of the fancy terms which people use in reality. But we will try to do step by step. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. So this is what I had for the day. And if you have anything, you can always ask the questions, right? So which DevOps tools will we learn with Azure? You would be learning, see, I have already shared the curriculum with you. In that curriculum, you would see Jenkins, you would see Azure DevOps, you would see Docker, you would see Kubernetes, you would see OpenShift. Okay, and there are small tools like Git, Maven, MS Build, all of that. Okay, so we will continue networking. We will continue networking. Okay, and till we finish the whole networking, right? So this is not one class on networking. We will have this journey because we don't know anything in networking. We just understood the scenario, right? Okay, so from tomorrow evening onwards, let us have Linux classes from 5 o'clock. Today I'll not have it. From tomorrow onwards, we'll have it. Okay, tomorrow onwards, every day 5 to 6 p.m. we'll have Linux classes. Okay, so for the people who have not attended Linux classes, there are two videos which are shared with you in the email. Please go through those classes. There is nothing difficult over there. Go through those classes, right? Okay, sir. I'll stop it at that, and we will meet again. Uh, and we will meet again tomorrow, right? So when will Python classes start? Right, they'll start very soon, sir. Let me arrange the logistics. Now today network is doing good, right? But for a couple of days we had different kind of problems, but now network is doing good, so things are better. So you would hear very soon from me on that. Okay, so along with Azure Linux. See, basically yesterday, Razak, I've already said that we have a foundation classes to which any of my students can attend. Okay, so as part of that, we are covering Linux. It is not Azure Linux, it is basically Linux, which you can apply anywhere, not only on Azure, right? So I'm quite sure you come from Linux background. Whatever I'm speaking is quite basic in right now, but you still can look into what I'm trying to cover. Okay, so right, sir. I'll stop it at that, and we'll meet again tomorrow to continue this discussion. Thank you. Thanks for your time.